Are we live? We're on. Okay. So exciting. Hi, everybody. Happy Sunday, January 31st, 2021. And it's like 15 degrees out here. Feels like about 7. But I made it. The sun came out. It's a little later in the afternoon, mid-afternoon. And it's kind of like a little miracle. I found a couple of tree here. It has a little seat made right into it just for me. And I got my boots, my storyteller hat, got like 3 layers of everything on, and I made it out looking at the sun over here. And remember when I said the kids used to play hockey on this pond? Well, they're playing today. So you're going to hear the sounds of the hockey sticks and voices and puck being slapped around. It's great. I love hockey. And I got my little drum for show and tell today. See that? I was thinking yesterday was Phil Collins' 70th birthday. I love Phil Collins. And recently they've had that thing on social media where everybody is trying to close their cabinets in time with that song In the Air Tonight. You know, bum, 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 bum. Well, I couldn't do that with the cabinets. And my cabinets are so old, they probably just like fall off the hinges. But that's actually part of today's discussion. And a little home decor chat over French toast and breakfast this morning. Everything was nice, you know. And then start looking around. I say, But I'll get to that in a minute. So, Phil Collins, drummer, was with Genesis. And then he went out on his own. He was fabulously successful. Now there's, one of his ex-wives is dragging him through the mud, and that's too bad, but I'm not going to get into that because people have their little dramas and things to deal with. It doesn't take away from the fact that Phil Collins is a genius. I love all of his songs. I ran on the treadmill yesterday. I put on some of his faster songs like Studio. Da, 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 da. So this is like Phil Collins weekend. And so it kind of brings me back to college, high school, college days. And, has a good feel. And so anyway, that's the drum. And today is my husband's cousin's 55th birthday. He's like 2 months younger than me. Fellow Gen Xer, and he plays the drums. And he plays hockey. So, PZ, happy birthday, man. Have a good one. Hope it's a good year for you. He's a very cool person. And his mother, who's no longer with us, God bless her, and my husband's mother were sisters. So they grew up close together. And then I have my cousin, who I write about in the book, Katie. We were also very close in age, and we grew up together. So even though my husband and I are both only children, we had these cousins who were, a lot like us, and yet very different at the same time. So I'm going to weave all these things in together. PZ, he's, like I said, he was a Marine. He's a college grad. He got his master's. He's in a engineering type of field. He's multi-talented. Like I said, plays the awesome drums. Very cool person to have a philosophical discussion with. Aquarius, right? Aquarius, and you never know where it's going to take you. At the same time, he and I could be very competitive. we'd go over his house. And he's, one of 4 brothers, and he has an older sister too. But the thing we like to do, he likes to do with his brothers, is play cornhole. Toss the bean bags and try to get them in the hole. And, So that's one thing. We like to, play sports. Sometimes they'd come over. He and his brother would come over for Thanksgiving. They're both bachelors, And I'd make a big Thanksgiving dinner, well, my husband and I. And then after or before, the guys would go and, toss the football around. Kind of like a brother-in-law, that or a brother that I never had. So we've had some good times. He's my son Brennan's godfather. And a fun person. Kids like him. He would do things when the kids were little, all the cousins. He'd line them up on the kitchen floor, and then he'd take a big box full of those little styrofoam peanuts and dump it all over them and pretend that it was snowing. Yeah. We once tried to fix him up with my best friend who I talked about from high school a few weeks ago. And that wasn't so successful. So, sometimes you can't get involved too much in people's lives. They know what's best for them at a very deep level. So we don't matchmake anymore. But, sometimes we just wanted people to be happy. But we want them to be our version of happy, right? And that's not always healthy. Like, we see people going off and doing things, and they seem to be happy doing them. And we're like, who do you think you are doing that? Who do you think you are writing that book and telling stories about everybody you know? Beat our own drum, don't we? We march to the beat of our own drum. Not everybody can hear that beat. In fact, we're the ones who hear it the loudest. And if we don't heed it, it starts getting louder and louder and louder till, we have to, right? That beat starts out very faint. And then it gets a little bit louder, older we get. Until it's like, right? And then you can't ignore it anymore. I'm going to put the drum down for a minute. So I read my Bible this morning. Jesus goes out. He's speaking out in the temple. He gets up there, he's talking like he knows what he's talking about, right? He's still, in his 20s probably. He's casting out demons. Hey, you there, I see you. Get out of him. Get out, go. It's like, who does this guy think he is? Isn't he one of us? The crabs, you see that myth, the story of all the crabs in the bucket. You put a bunch of crabs in the bucket. One tries to scamper up to the top. The other one's trying to pull him back down, right? Who do you think you are? It's like a little scampering, those little black bugs in the mummy that come out, the sarcophagus or whatever. It's like you take one little thing out, you could see there's a little crack of light. But then you notice that you've opened the secret cupboard and all the little demons have come out, all the little buggies. If you had kept everything all nice and sealed up, that wouldn't have happened. They were still there, but you wouldn't have seen them. So once you see them and you call them out, you can see what they are, right? Say, can you put some bug spray or just, get out of here. But then once you start doing that, you have to keep doing it, right? Because, well, I got a little crack of light. I wonder if I pulled that door a little bit wider. I wonder what would happen. And then, when you get really deep into that, all the light starts coming in, and you're like, oh, I see where I have to go. It's right there. It's right there. The rest of the people are back in, where you started. They're like, who does she think she is? But then they're so far away that, you don't pay any attention to them anymore, because it's like, you got to find your own, way, you people. Because by that time, you're all like, bum, 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 and then you got a new rhythm going. You're right, bum, 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 and you're making up new rhythms. You're not just following somebody else's beat. You're right, bum, bum, do, 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 bum, 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 bum. So it's so pretty out here. So once we start seeing how things could be, it's hard to stop. Like today, we were having our nice French toast, Sunday breakfast. Smooth jazz was playing in the background. And I'm sitting across from my husband at the breakfast table. We watched a movie last night, Sandra Bullock, that one about premonitions, where she sees something happening. Well, I won't tell you in case you want to see it, but it's like one of those thrillers. I love Sandra Bullock. But one of her main decisions in the movie has to be, does she tell her husband something that she has seen that she thinks is going to happen? Does she tell him, or does she stay quiet about it? And the more she gets into the movie, the more she realizes she has to say something. She has to be truthful. So anyway, so we start talking about decorating the house, And he says, or what do you think about the house, the living room? Maybe, we could change the flooring or do something. And then, it's like that little crack of light. It's like, what do I think about decorating the house? My house, which after 2020, with the kid graduating high school this year and the other one, now he's back at college, what do I think needs to be done? Well, I've already got my list. I've got OneNote notebooks. I've got clippings. I've got a million websites and a million ideas that are... And he's sitting there going... I see his eyes rolling back in his head, and he's... and I've lost him. We could make this color. I got this app and that app. And maybe this color would go with that, and that color would go with this, and we could open this up and put, and he started sort of falling over at the breakfast table, and I knew I had lost him. Who do you think you are, anyway? Who do you think you are? He says, why don't you come up with 2 projects that we could do? And I'll focus my attention on the 2 projects. Because, he admits that. Men can't multitask like women. Men have this single focus. I must do the dishes. I must do this report. I must, And meanwhile, I'm like the Tasmanian devil. I'm like... And then I have to escape to the woods, or else, I need somewhere to let it all out. So that's why I come out here to the woods, and I feel better. Either that or I go in my mind. I go to my fictitious little cottage that I have somewhere. In my mind, I've got my own little cottage in the woods somewhere that I can decorate to my heart's content. And I kind of kind of mentally go there, and I see myself there. I see myself at this beautiful little house with the, out in nature somewhere, and it's beautifully decorated, and it warms my heart, and I have good food cooking, and I have people over, after the pandemic. Everything is safe and whatever. But in my vision, there's no pandemic, so everybody can just come and enjoy. But I come back to reality, and it's very harsh. I look around. I see that battles have taken place in every room in my house of some kind, of between dog and man and boy. Well, I've been hiding up in my little tower room, doing my videos, my little dining room / office, dual purpose room. And the ideas I have. Who do you think you are anyway? It's only half my house. But in my mind, it's my house, it's always my house. Wherever these people, I just let them live there. I know that sounds harsh, but Jack says, well, I'm moving out. I don't really care, They've already built their dream houses on Minecraft, that, computer game. They go on there and they're like, oh, there's my sheep and block, 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 block. There's my pigs and my block, 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 chickens. See, now that's kind of like what I do. It's fun. Now, my husband lives in a world of gray, navy, and black, and fog. My world is brightly colored. There are people playing hockey in the background. There are French meat pies cooking in the stove. Who do you think you are? Are you that lone crab trying to get out of the bucket? Sometimes you find yourself very alone, but that doesn't have to be a bad thing. Well, alone is not lonely. Lonely is, needing to have people around. But you can be alone and still very, very nice and toasty inside, and, just fine. I'm used to it. I'm going to make shrimp fajitas tonight. Not crab, but shrimp. And next weekend's the Super Bowl, such as it will be. It won't be the same Super Bowl. Very different from the Super Bowls of our growing up. But the interesting thing is, cousin PZ, his birthday, the number of his age is always the same as the number of the Super Bowl. That's pretty cool. You always know what, how old you are. And you have Super Bowl on your birthday some years. And you got Phil Collins. He's starting to, never mind. But he's, as he gets older, he and Phil Collins start to kind of look like they're related a little bit. But that's not a bad thing. Phil Collins is, at face value, oh, we have company. There's a plane. He planes. It's a small plane too. So anyway, don't let the crabs drag you back down in the bucket. Rise. And what's that? Groundhog Day is this week. Sonny and Cher. The beat goes on. And we're in Aquarius, so it's very, the age of Aquarius, all that hippie stuff. I'm going to close. The beat goes on. The beat goes on. The beat goes on. I hope you have an excellent week. I hope you capture all your brilliant ideas that you're going to have. The little butterflies flying around. Capture them. Now's the time. Write them down. make plans, and then execute the plans, even if it takes a while. There's no rush. The beat goes on. See you next week. Take care.